all. Hope everyone is having a really great weekend so far. So some of you that follow me on Instagram may have already seen that I've mounted my Apex wheels, which I waited a really long time for. So I actually ordered these Apex wheels almost 2 months ago, heard a lot of really good things about it, so I wanted to give it a try since they actually published a Apex wheel and tire fitment guide that's available online. I've linked it down below. The long wait was most likely due to supply chain issues. I think it's not a surprise that, for example, tires are very hard to find right now. The lead time for delivery is pretty intense. So I was initially looking at the RT660s because that seems to be a popular track tire among many folks. But when I went to Tire Rack and I tried to add it to my cart, I saw that the lead time was basically 2 months out. So had I ordered that earlier, I probably would have gotten my Falcons by now. By the way, this is not a sponsored post. I bought these Apex wheels with my own money, but there are a lot of discounts going on the website. Just take a look and maybe you can get lucky with a group buy order. Ask all your friends and see if they want to get a set of wheels as well. I would also recommend checking with any local shops that have become Apex wheel dealers. There are a couple in the Bay Area, so one of my friend's shops is called Turn 9 Motorsports in Santa Clara. They recently became an Apex wheel dealer, so maybe you can go check them out. So the wheels that I decided to go with were the VS-5RS in the color Anthracite. Anthracite is supposed to be like the color of brake dust, so after a track day it doesn't look so obvious that there's brake dust in your wheels, because how would they know since it's the same color? The sizes I went with were 19x9 in the front and 19x11 in the rear. On the Apex wheel fitment guide, they have a different set of configurations on their website that recommend which sizes of tires and what type of tires to be using with their different wheel sizes. I found that pretty convenient. I do wonder if they stress tested these with GT4s on the track. My guess is no. The wheels that I got are a newer model. Based on the previous models, they've been pretty much widely used among different cars, especially Porsche on the track, and haven't heard any really glaringly terrible issues so far, so I'm excited to test these out. My next track day will be at Laguna Seca at the end of this month. I'm going for a 103 dB event, which is kind of expensive, but you know, gotta get those pics at the corkscrew. So for the GT4 folks out there that are interested in running 19x9 in the rears, something very important that they did note on their website is that to make these work, especially if you're going to be running 305s in the rear, you should make sure that your car has an aftermarket adjustable toe link and camber plate set to ensure that there's enough clearance in your rear wheels. So this is the Apex wheel and tire fitment guide for the 981 GT4 and Spyder. You can see that in the rear toe link section, it is extremely recommended to install an aftermarket adjustable rear toe link to make sure that you have the best clearance possible for the rears, because it's going to be a tight fit. So down here they have some recommendations based on the wheel sizes that you picked from their website. I have the 19x11s in the rear, and for the tire size pairing, I went with a 255 in the front, which is a direct fit, and a 305 in the rear. I'll need some negative camber, and there may be some poking beyond the fender. My friend Daniel, who has a 718 GT4, was the first one that I knew of that got very similar Apex wheels with the same sizes. Ran into a bit of fitment issues, and I will link his video down below if you want to check that out. His video is extremely informative. He lists down every single part that you would need to make these work, at least from his experience, so I would highly recommend checking that out. When I was emailing with the Apex rep, he did mention that the best type of adjustable toe link to have would be the Tarett ones. And that's also the one that Daniel runs. If you check out his video, he goes through it in great detail, including the install, the setup, and how it went during his track day at Laguna Seca. Luckily for me, the previous owner actually put on an aftermarket suspension kit on the car. It's the Club Sport B kit from Tarett Engineering. And lucky me, I'm so lucky that I didn't have to go out and buy adjustable toe links and camber plates. So this is the Tarett Engineering website, and these are the parts that they list for the Tarett suspension packages. You can technically buy each component separately, or you can buy a complete kit based on your driving needs. Now for me, the previous owner was actually pretty hardcore on the track, so the Club Sport B kit is what's installed. As I mentioned before, my skill level is nowhere near advanced, and I just happened to have this kit because it was already on the car. This kit is best tailored for serious competitive track use like time attack, and best used with R compound tires or racing slicks. But anyway, my point is this kit will work just fine, but all you really need are those adjustable toe links and camber plates to address those clearance issues. Tires, and I hope I don't get crucified for my tire choice. I might be the first GT4 out there running Federal 595RS Pros on the track. Probably good for learning since I'm not a super advanced driver. I only started really tracking this year. The Federal 595RS Pros are a 200 treadwear tire. People that did try the RSRRs did not like them because they were super noisy and just didn't really have the greatest performance on the track. But these should work decently well. My friend had these tires, he ran them on his 4C and did a decent time with them, so hopefully I would have a similar experience, but I don't know, driver mod. So the sizes that I went with were 255 in the front, 305 in the back. And as a reminder for OEM spec, the OEM sizes for the GT4 wheels, they're 20 inches and they're 245s in the front and 295 in the rear. As soon as I posted on Instagram, everyone was asking me how the Federal 595RS Pros were. Honestly, I just drove it home for 4 miles. I haven't actually stress tested them yet. Probably won't do that until I get to the track. But they're not that loud, honestly. Like everyone keeps saying that I will go deaf from the road noise. I mean, the Bay Area highway roads aren't really that great anyway, and I hear a lot of rumbling all the time. But honestly, it's only a touch louder than my previous wheel setup. I had RE71Rs in the front and Cup 2s in the rear. So the reason why I went with forged wheels is because I really want something a lot stronger than OEM. I was quite disappointed that when I was at Thunderhill West in April, during my last session, I ended up going off a little bit and just hopping back on the track, going over a berm, and I've been over berms many times, and this bent the shit out of my wheel. I was so terrified because I heard my tire flopping and I immediately knew, oh shit, I think I punctured my tire. So thankfully I was close to the pit, so once I pitted, limped myself, crawled myself back to my parking spot, took a look, and sure enough, like my wheel was totally bent to shit, and I will drop a photo of it in this video. And the good thing about Apex wheels is that they do offer a lifetime warranty, so if you do bend your forged wheels, which I think is totally possible still, you can get a new replacement wheel for half the price. And I think that's a pretty good value prop to have, especially when you're shopping for a pretty expensive consumable like wheels. Actually, are wheels even considered a consumable? I don't know. Also, as a reminder, this video is not sponsored. I purchased the Apex wheels myself, but they do run promotions and discounts, especially group discounts, if you want to buy some with your friends. I would recommend checking out their website. These are the rears, they're 305 compared to the stock 295. But these will be on 19s versus the stock 20s. So big.